Well, our next guest has had a long, successful career, and if I could use one word to describe her career, I probably would say diverse. You've done a lot of different things. Her first time on the show, it's a great pleasure to welcome Natasha Burnett to our city tonight. Natasha, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You are quite welcome. We're going to get to that show in a few minutes. For people out there that are fans, they know the show I'm talking about. Let's talk about your career. Now, you're from Surrey, England.
Yes, that's right.
I was amazed. I want to hear some stories on you. One of your early projects, and you're 19, I think at the time, is in the this Magic of Motown show where you're playing Diana Ross. Okay, I could see that. But you're also playing Michael Jackson.
That's right.
You're 19. Talk about how you did that.
It started off really with Diana Ross. That was most of the time until they found that the male leads found it a little difficult to reach those high notes.
Okay, yeah,
when he was in the Jackson 5.
the Jackson 5, right.
Yes. So they enlisted my help because I was the only one that could really do the quick changes as well in between. And then because I was leading the ladies as Diana Ross, it became a novelty.
Wow. And, I mean, grew up with Michael, grew up with Diana Ross, big fan. Even though the script has got it laid out for you, how are you tackling a role like Diana Ross, first of all?
That one was definitely watching a lot of footage on YouTube. I remember seeing, I believe in '86, she was in Central Park and it was raining.
Yeah.
I always remember this video. And she was singing in the rain, and she said she was gonna stay out here the whole night if they're staying with her.
I remember that line, yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it always stuck with me, but just that general inclusive and really warm attitude, and just to try and embody her nature and her warmth it was something I really wanted to try and make sure I was able to capture for the audience.
You have lived in other parts of the world, including Sydney, Australia. You decided to make the move to Vancouver.
I did.
You've been working nonstop from what I've seen so far with a lot of things, including the hit series iZombie. You also are on the popular show Tracker, which is also shot here, a very popular show. One of the things I love that I spotted, and I have not seen it yet, is your film Legend of the Lost Locket,
Yes.
which I love because you're starring in it, but you also produced it. And I said to you before we went on camera, especially with actresses, I love thinking long game like that because you're looking how you can add more things to your career.
Yes.
How was the producing and acting? How did you balance both those?
It was a good learning curve. I learnt quite a lot in a short space of time. I think it's one thing to be the lead of a movie and you have all the lines to learn and creating your character. But also when you're producing, I found that there were moments where I had to put out fires before the director arrived on set.
Right.
So, and so your brain is working at 100,000 miles an hour. And I even found myself, there were a couple scenes in the movie off the top where the actors, it was set in like the 1800s, the beginning. They had two scenes where it was in the 1800s, and I wanted to be there to ensure that what they were saying sounded as British as I needed it to.
Right.
So, even though I didn't need to be in, I made sure I went in at that time with everybody else so I could just be there. And for some reason, even though you're working such long hours and you're in every single scene otherwise, you still are attached to everything else that's going on, even when it's not involving you specifically.
That's so cool. Hey, in 2021, you became regular cast member on a little show you may have heard of called When Calls the Heart. I kid, but this really is one of those shows that is a global juggernaut in terms of its popularity. It has been on since 2014. You can see it here in Canada, of course, the States. I don't think they set out to think it would be this big, but it is really, as I said, you've got fans that are Hearties, Hearties, but that there's just this great fan support. How is it joining a show like this? You're on the show as Minnie. You've got an ongoing role, of course, a regular role. How is it joining a show that's already a huge success, and how did you find it different?
You definitely have to kind of get the lay of the land once you get onto set, because you're not sure the dynamic that's already there. But actually coming onto this set, they have the same crew as well as cast. So you feel much more comfortable, and they made us feel more comfortable because it's like, just was more of a, oh, you're joining our family.
It's interesting too, when I've talked to actors like yourself who've been on a show for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, that it always helps when you have the support of the writers, let's say,
Yes.
that can help your character grow each year. You had a very important year this year, I think season 12.
Yes.
Talk a bit about that for your fans, because as I said, you can talk to actors, like doing the show on stage, the challenge is making it not stale.
Yes.
But also for your character on a show like this, you owe it to the fans, and the writers owe it to the fans to make sure that your character keeps growing.
Yeah, so, before we start a season, we always have a chat with the showrunner and discuss where we think our character can go, where we'd like our character to go, what we'd like to try, and what story we may want to tell for the next year.
Yeah.
And so we always have a baseline for where we think we want to go. And I think we'd always seen Minnie in positions where she was always in charge. She knew what she was always doing, and she always had an answer for everything. And
This year she didn't though, did she?
She didn't. So that's what we really wanted to look at this year. How can we develop her as a character,
Right.
and make her character more complex? Because the fans did really love that she was that type of character. She always kept things together, and she always had her head on, and she knew she was very calm and collected. And so we just wanted to shake things up a bit. We've never seen her be really fun. We've never seen her fall apart. So this was an opportunity that we wanted to use to try and tell a slightly different story for her.
Are you, I shouldn't say surprise is not the right word, but as we wrap things up, I'm not surprised a show like this has had great legs. I think that people are clamoring for something. This is family, this is sentiment, this is old-fashioned settings. I think that this is the kind of thing that, for me, I think people, it seems obvious in hindsight, but it doesn't surprise me the show has been so popular with viewers, especially in this day and age in which we live.
Yeah, I mean, it became so popular after COVID, during COVID, when nothing was being really made, and they needed something that was light. And I think we got a burst of fans through at that point, because people just wanted to watch something light and that felt good. And I think since then it's just kind of continued to grow.
Yeah, not simple, but simpler times, definitely, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, anything else coming up that you would like us to know, your fans to know about? You've got a very busy schedule. I'm looking at something called the Christmas Cup. I think that's already out. It was out November 30th.
It is out November 30th.
That's what I'm reading here, Natasha. You should know this.
There we go.
And lots more coming next year other than the show.
Yes.
That is excellent. Hey, look for Natasha in the new season of One Calls the Heart and a whole bunch of other things next year. Appreciate you coming in to see us. First time on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Great.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.